Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are Minnesota.
For 25 years, your home for Minnesota Twins baseball.
Number 17. Walk-off hit.
There is no place like home, especially on a sizzling summer night in late June. Twins fans are on hand, as always, in large numbers to welcome their club back to Target Field for an 8-game homestand starting tonight against the Kansas City Royals. No question, home is where the heart is, but for the Twins, it's also been where most of their wins have come. 19 of their 34 this season, 10 of the last 14 games at Target Field, a trend that Samuel DeDuno hopes to continue tonight as he takes them on for Minnesota, 2-0 lifetime against the Royals. Royals starter Jeremy Guthrie has also produced some nice numbers against the Twins, a 6-2 record over his last 11 outings against Minnesota. An important 4-game series ahead for both the Twins and Royals here at Target Field. Two teams looking for wins. Let's break down the series ahead, and we start with the strong suit for the Kansas City Royals. They're pitching. Jeremy Guthrie 9-1 against the AL Central. 2.13 ERA in a Royals uniform, and whom he'll face two of the hottest hitters in baseball right now.
Well, when you're talking about hot hitters, you got to talk about some of the Twins guys, and you know, this guy right here. Has he ever not been hot? I think they had one short stretch in April where he didn't get a few hits. But you look at all these balls, Tommy, he's able to stay through the middle of the field the other way. And, you know, we just talked about Joe's plan. It's phenomenal. Now, this guy, to me, he's exciting to watch. He brings an energy. He's one of those people that every ball club loves to have. He's been able to drive the ball all over the ballpark. You look at those numbers in June since he's been called back. Phenomenal. Gives Gardy a lot of punch.
Twins have returned home for the holiday, 4th of July that is, and they hope to launch some fireworks tonight in their series opener with KC. Dick Kramer, first fly let him return next with more on tonight's matchup mashup. It's the Twins and Royals tonight, right here on Fox Sports North.
By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealers today. By Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by South Dakota Tourism. South Dakota, your American journey begins here. Beautiful night for baseball, and Samuel DeDuno starts his 8-game homestand as he makes his start tonight against the Kansas City Royals. And the Twins will face right-hander Jeremy Guthrie, who's going through a bit of a slump himself for the Royals in Game 1 of a 4-game series. Dick and Bert with you for the opening game here at Target Field. It's a beautiful night for baseball. The Twins will be facing right-hander Jeremy Guthrie, who's given the Twins some trouble over the years, but the Twins have got some guys in the lineup who've done pretty well against the Royals pitching.
Yeah, Guthrie making his 10th career start against the Twins, 6-2 over his career, and he's pitched very well here at Target Field. But I'll tell you what, there's one guy in the Twins lineup that I don't care who's out on that mound. If you wear a Kansas City uniform, this guy is going to somehow find a way to get ahead. Since 2009, over 57 games, Joe Mauer hitting .415. You don't win 3 batting titles unless you control at least a dozen ball clubs, and he's been able to do all 12. So
Samuel DeDuno going for the Twins, and he's done very well against the Royals.
Yeah, DeDuno 2-0 this year. So far, DeDuno in his last 5 starts averaging over 6 innings an outing. And DeDuno, if he can get that ball over the plate, there's a lot of movement. He should be right on. But one guy he has to face is right-handed hitter Billy Butler. Billy Butler, a .310 career hitter against the Minnesota Twins. And over the last 14 ball games, hitting almost .500, driving in some runs, and also hitting the long ball.
Twins have put together back-to-back winning homestands. They've got 4 games with Kansas City, then 4 games with the New York Yankees. And the Twins are hoping that they will play well in their home sweet home. Twins have done well at Target Field as of late, winning 10 of their last 14 games. We've got great weather. The forecast for the 8 games played here at Target Field, it's supposed to get better every day, a little bit cooler every day. Ned Yost and the Royals making their first visit here this year. The Twins have already played 2 series in Kansas City, and the Royals have won 5 of the 6 games between the 2 teams so far. The Menards batting order for the Royals, still offensively challenged. Alex Gordon leading off. Alcides Escobar recently moved up to the number 2 spot in the batting order. Eric Hosmer, Billy Butler, Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas, David Lowe, Elliott Johnson, and Gerard Dyson.
And Samuel Deduno on the mound this evening for the Minnesota Twins, making his 7th start, his 2nd against the Royals. The only win the Twins had with Deduno on the mound back in Kansas City. He pitched 6 shutout innings back on June 4th. Hopefully he can repeat that here. 2-0 in his career against the Kansas City Royals, making his 3rd career start.
Twins in a situation where if they win this series, if they win 3 out of the 4 games, they'll move ahead of Kansas City in the American League Central standings. Gordon, Escobar, and Hosmer to get things started. Outside, ball 1. Just a hunch, okay? But I've got a hunch this is going to be a really good homestand for the Twins. I don't know why.
Well, the last 2 have been very good, and I'd like to see them repeat that. You know what's good about the game of baseball? They came off a road trip, 1 win, 4 losses in Cleveland and Miami, but you have to have a short memory. And here's a new day for Ron Gardenhire and his ball club. You're back at home where you've had some recent success. You want to take that to the next level.
2-1 to Gordon. Gordon led off the ball game yesterday for Kansas City with a home run. His first home run in 160 at bats. And then he won the game with a walk-off single in extra innings. So the Royals start this game a game and a half ahead of the Twins. 2-1. Chopped up the line, a foul ball.
Yeah, we have talked about the Deduno before as you look at this beautiful evening here in Minnesota, but temperature at 84. Nice breeze, kind of feels good. Humidity at 34%. But Deduno's baseball just moves all over the place. Not too often he just throws a straight fastball.
And chopper right side. Somebody needs to get to the bag, and it's juggled, and Gordon will reach on an infield hit. 3 players went for the ball. Finally, Deduno, after a hesitation, went to the bag. Dozier never did. Fielded cleanly, and Gordon should get an infield hit. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Oswaldo Arcia in left field. Josh Willingham, the designated hitter. Lee Thomas in center. Chris Parmalee in right. Kluk, Florimo, Dozier, and Morneau. Deduno and Mauer, the battery mates. Phil Cuzzy behind the plate. 4-game series. Everybody in the crew will get an opportunity behind the plate. And for those of you who don't know, the umpires rotate clockwise. Cuzzy tomorrow will be at third base. Here's Alcides Escobar. Another number. And Deduno juggles it, flips, and they get the out at first. So just about the same ball hit off the right-handed batter's bat as off the lefty Gordon. Gordon goes to second, 1 away.
Yeah, Deduno just tried to make the throw to second before he got the ball in his glove.
Now he's grimacing, and I don't know why.
Well, just right off the end of the bat, Deduno grabbed for it, and you can see him already almost turned towards second base. Instead, he gets the out at first.
Just trying to catch his breath. He's had to cover the bag first, get a ground ball.
I said the pitchers are the best athletes out there.
Just not the most long-winded. 1 down, and here's Eric Hosmer. Dave Prumer, the lead trainer for the Twins, watching Deduno, but there was a definite grimace, maybe just frustration for not getting the lead runner. Down and in, ball 1. Royals playing better baseball. They're 14-9 in the month of June. They've been as stymied as the Twins have, getting within earshot of the 500 mark, and then a couple losses, and they fall back.
They've almost had the same problem the Twins have with runners in scoring position. They have really struggled. They don't score a lot of runs. But their pitching staff very solid.
I was just going to say they are tops in the American League in team ERA.
There's George Brett.
1-1 to Hosmer. Dug out by Mauer nicely, keeping Gordon at second base. 2-1. Brett's job is to unlock Hosmer, Moustakas, and some of the other young Royals hitters that have struggled so far this year.
Yeah, Brett's not a video type guy. He's more of a mental guy. He's going to try to pump him up just by extra batting practice, talking to him on the field, realizing that every at-bat is an important at-bat. Don't give an at-bat away.
2-2 to Hosmer. Duno hoping to deliver a strikeout pitch. Brett hired as a hitting coach about a month ago, and the results haven't been dramatic. But I don't think anyone expected you just hit a switch and suddenly Hosmer would be hitting 300. Moustakas would be hitting 300. 2-2 to Hosmer. Breaking ball. Got a piece of it. I think you'd have to say Duno's strikeout pitch is the curve, right?
Yeah, the curveball or that hard slider.
6 strikeouts in his last start, a season high. Two and 2 to Eric Hosmer. Another chopper. And Morneau goes to the bag. 2 down, and Gordon moves up a bit.
Well, Duno getting a good workout in. At least he knows where first base is now. Duno in his last outing coming June 4th in Kansas City. 6 shutout innings. Couple walks, 5 strikeouts. Twins ended up beating the Royals that day 3-0.
Duno responsible for the only Twins win against Kansas City this year. Hot muggy night, and Duno's had a bit of a workout here in the first inning. Billy Butler, the designated hitter.
You can see the movement, or you can see what the hitters feel, because every ball has been beaten into the ground. All 3 hitters that Duno has faced have hit little nubbers.
Yeah,
basically in the infield.
Usually a pitcher wants a batter to hit the top half of the ball. So far the Royals have hit the top 5th. 1-0 to Butler. Foul back. 1-1.
Well, we mentioned in the open Billy Butler with a 14-game hitting streak going to last year against Twins pitching staff. Career .310 hitter against Twins pitching. Butler in his 7th season with the Royals, came up in 2007.
Two and 1. Royals hoping to find somebody, and right now their hopes rest with Salvador Perez, somebody to protect Butler in at-bats and counts like this. Perez is hitting 300, coming back from an injury. Breaking ball over the inside corner, a slower breaking ball. 2-2. Let's see, Elvis Andrus with a 34-game hitting streak against the Indians. Ellsbury with a long one against the Royals, and Butler with a long one against the Twins. Duno trying to get him. Get the Twins off the field in the first. Full count. Unless or until the Royals find a reliable bat to hit behind Butler, teams will have the option of just pitching him carefully, sending him to first base, and getting the next guy.
He just missed with that slider on a 2-2 pitch. Let's see if they go back out there again with that slider.
Lace to center. Thomas is there. So a well hit ball finally off the bat of Butler. It's the third out of the inning. One of the 5 games, but now 2 4-game series at home. And the hope that better things are coming for the Twins. Here's the Menard batting order in the homestand opener. Clete Thomas in the leadoff spot. He'll be followed by Joe Mauer. Josh Willingham, the designated hitter. Justin Morneau, Oswaldo Arcia hitting 5th. Trevor Plouffe, Chris Parmalee, Brian Dozier, and Pedro Florimon. So Thomas, Mauer, and Willingham here in the first against Jeremy Guthrie.
Yeah, Guthrie making his 16th start, his 3rd against the Twins. He's already beaten the Twins twice this year. Both those starts, of course, in Kansas City back in early April and then back earlier this month. Guthrie over his career, 10th major career start against the Twins, 6-2 with a 3.3 ERA.
Outside, ball 1 to Thomas.
Guthrie coming off the shortest start of his season. That coming against the Chicago White Sox.
Outside again, 2-0. 2 1/3 innings, 6 earned runs, 5 hits, 3 walks, a strikeout, only 1, but it was his first strikeout in 3 starts. That's hard to do.
Well, Guthrie's a guy they say is starting to learn how to pitch a little bit. You know, when he first came up with Cleveland and then over in Baltimore, he's kind of a thrower. He doesn't mind not striking out anybody as long as he can get deep into the ball game, and he's one of these starters for the Royals able to do that.
But the walk to strikeout ratio then isn't very good. In his last 3 starts, 9 walks, just 1 strikeout, and it's 3-1 now to Thomas. And hits the outside corner, 3-2. We've seen this from Thomas. A lot of full counts in his opening at bat of the game and throughout the game. He's taken a lot of pitches and more often than not lately had a full count. A high pop up to right field. Low coming in. It's the second baseman Johnson with the catch in short right field. Northland Ford defense for the Kansas City Royals. Pretty athletic out there tonight. Alex Gordon really good in left, a Gold Glove winner. Gerard Dyson at center, David Lowe in right. Moustakas very good with the glove at third. Hosmer as well at first. Escobar, Johnson up the middle, and Perez shuts down the running game behind the plate. There's Gordon, who made probably the finest catch we've seen here at Target Field, robbing Danny Valencia of a home run last year. And you saw Dyson, his great speed in center, and Lowe runs awfully well in right. Mauer takes strike 1.
Oh, Dick, you mentioned in that top of the first inning about the Royals, their starting staff and their pitching staff in general, 3.51 combined ERA. That's the best in the American League because of that good defense that they have behind him. and him being the pitcher.
Got a good fielding shortstop. Alcides Escobar, spectacular at times. We saw Moustakas last year in Kansas City put on a fielding clinic at third base. 1-1 to Mauer. Guy behind the plate is awfully good defensively. 1-2. Paraphrasing Yogi Berra, you've got to have a catcher, or you're going to have a lot of wild pitches.
Joe Mauer 6 for 16 lifetime against Guthrie.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
It does make a lot of sense.
1-2 to Mauer. 3 hits in the series finale yesterday. The average keeps climbing upward.
You know, about 6-7 years ago, I had a chance to go and do a function with Yogi Berra, and Yogi doesn't like to just get up and talk. He wants somebody to ask him questions, so they asked if I would do that. And my goodness, the Yogi-isms, I mean, and it's not like, you know, he rehearses it. They just come out.
Right.
That's Yogi.
And as silly as they sometimes look when you see him in print, they do make a lot of sense. He was watching Papillon or whatever it was, and he said, well, Steve McQueen he must have made that before he died.
Which makes sense.
Absolutely. Can't argue with it. 1-2. Driven foul. Nobody goes to that restaurant anymore because it's too crowded. Guthrie's been really good for the Royals to the point where they exchange problem children with the Rockies. Jonathan Sanchez sent to Colorado. Guthrie didn't like it at Coors Field, and then immediately Guthrie started pitching well for the Royals, and they signed him to a 3-year extension in the offseason. 1-2. Oh my! A frightening smash. Guthrie got a piece of it to Escobar, and Mauer with a rocket that just about hit Guthrie in the head.
About decapitated him right there. My goodness, right up the middle. How did Guthrie able to get down? See right there. Wow.
Oh, right past his left ear. And it did appear like he got the thumb of his glove on the ball.
Well, if he came into this game a little bit not awake, he's awake now, believe me. Woo.
2 down. Josh Willingham, the batter. Inside, ball 1.
You know, I had that in my career too. What it makes you think as a pitcher, get away from the middle of the plate quick, because that's exactly where that pitch was, and that's where a hitter or any hitter wants to do, is hit that ball right back up the middle. So even though I was kind of kidding, that would kind of wake you up. It does. It makes you concentrate on hitting your spots a little bit better.
Bounce to third, 1 hop.
And make them pull the ball.
Guthrie has a 1-2-3 first inning.
Inning between the Twins and Royals. Ron Gardenhire has called Samuel Deduno effectively wild in the past, but he said today he's been very pleased with how he has settled in and become more consistent. Now, Gardy tells me it all starts with Deduno calming himself down on the mound before he even throws. He takes his time, and then he can control the strike zone a lot more than he used to. Gardy said he did not have command of his fastball, but now he does. So with his stuff, he thinks Deduno could even go deep into the ball games, maybe even finish a ball game. But for now, of course, Stickenberg, he's just concerned with getting through the second inning.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. You know, I don't know if the WBC, if he gives that a lot of credit, but going there and having some success. I know he came out of spring training, you know, out of that with a little bit of a groin injury. But I'll tell you what, he is pitching completely different than he did for the Twins last year.
Deduno pitched with a lot of confidence in March and with a lot of pride. The WBC experience shouldn't be discounted because it's obvious that for Dominican players, players from Venezuela, players from Japan, as indifferent as a lot of U.S. players might be about the experience, players from those countries take that tournament very seriously, as you know.
As we did with the Dutch team.
One strike and a foul by Mustafa.
But I'm just going back to last year when he first came up. I mean, 79 innings pitched for Deduno, 53 walks. So here's a guy that just didn't, you know, wasn't real sure of what he had. And this year, just like a big turnaround. Only 13 walks in 38 innings pitched so far.
Breaking
and he'll do that once in a while. You know, just kind of release the ball. And we saw it in that game in Milwaukee. Remember, he hit 3 batters. The Milwaukee Brewers didn't want any part of him. They were uncomfortable at the plate.
Figuring if he doesn't know where the ball's going, how are they supposed to zone in on it? 1-2. Punch to center. Should be playable for Thomas. 2 down. We have a phantom cam that we're going to be featuring this weekend. It's super slow motion, and it's fascinating to watch. Here's Deduno's breaking ball.
It's amazing what your arm goes through, the muscles, you see that, but trying to get on top of that ball with your middle finger and your pointer finger to create that rotation, and also how the thumb comes into play.
2 down. I think this is the right word, the pronation of your forearm as you release the baseball. You see it in a super slow-mo like that, and it makes you wonder why everybody hasn't had Tommy John surgery. 1-1 to David Lowe.
Well, David Lowe has come up and has done a very good job for Ned Yost out in right field. Trying to put Jeff Francoeur on the bench. Lowe hitting over 300. Got called up in the middle of May.
One and two. Lowe getting some playing time at the expense of Jeff Francoeur, who's been out in the right field area at Kauffman Stadium for the last several years for the Royals. On the outside corner, good inning for Deduno. A 1-2-3 second. The only base runner on a little squib hit that started the ball game by Alex Gordon. When you join the Twins season ticket family this year, you'll be hitting the sweet spot. Purchase any of the Twins season ticket packages and receive 10% off food, beverage, and merchandise bought at Target Field. Season ticket prices are also up to 20% cheaper than single game purchases. Call 800-33-TWINS. Visit twinsbaseball.com. Check out the options and learn about the benefits of being a season ticket holder. Justin Morneau starts the second for the Twins against Jeremy Guthrie. Strike one.
Justin 6 hits in 19 at-bats against Guthrie with a couple home runs in his career.
1-1. Guthrie made a very positive first impression with the Royals, and it carried into this year after he signed the contract extension. 18 starts without a loss for a team that wasn't very good. 10-0 in that period of time with an ERA of just over 2.
Yeah, Guthrie making his 199th major league start, 226 major league appearance, 62 wins, 82 losses.
3-1 to Morneau. Ripped to right. Low makes the catch. Royals had Morneau shifted. He hit it over the head of Johnson, but within range of Low, one down. Here's the phantom cam look at Justin Morneau's swing. See just off the end. See the vibration of the bat, which probably wouldn't have been there had he hit it in the sweet spot of the bat. We're going to have Ron Coomer up here starting next inning for a few innings, and we'll be able to talk about the impact of the ball on the bat, what it feels like, and what it looks like with our phantom cam.
I think anytime that you make contact with that ball, you're going to get that little bit of vibration. You just saw where that ball was hit off the end. If that ball's in maybe about another 6 inches, that's a ball maybe Justin can drive and airborne it maybe into the seats in right field.
One strike to Arcia. 1-1.
Guthrie, as I mentioned, 199th major league start. He has only 5 complete games, 1 shutout, and that coming earlier this year against the Chicago White Sox. A 4-hit shutout.
Popped up, foul. It'll reach the seats. 1-2. You can be a part of the broadcast by voting for the Arby's Value Player of the Game. Just text value, a space, the player's last name to 234-234. Let us know who you think had the most value in today's game. We'll tell you the winner in the postgame show. If I had time to vote, I would probably vote for Samuel Deduno. But I don't want to tell you how to vote at home. Arcia strikes out, 2 down.
A good fastball right there after a bunch of slow stuff. Guthrie heating it up with a high fastball, picks up his first strikeout. And for Guthrie, his 46th strikeout in 96 innings pitched. And he's never really been a big strikeout guy. He'll, maybe top out at 8 or 9 in a good ball game.
He got that ball by Arcia. Trevor Plouffe, the batter. Breaking ball hitting the outside corner. Another one, slower breaking ball hitting the corner again.
Yeah, good changeup right there. Guthrie straight over the top. 34 years old, #1 pick by the Indians back in 2002 out of Stanford University.
1-2. Made 3 opening day starts for the Orioles, and then they traded him to the Rockies. Missing inside 2-2.
A lot of pitchers today, right-handed pitchers, they'll step off to the side to get to that balance point. Guthrie steps straight back with that right foot. and then turns his body to get to that balance point, and just missing outside.
Full count. This will be the 30th pitch for Guthrie with Parmalee on deck.
Step straight back, get those hips turned right there, and then explode.
And a soft line drive to Johnson. Another 1-2-3 inning for Jeremy Guthrie. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us.
Dick, I bet you could dance like that
very slowly. I see video like that, though, and I want to talk real slow. Elliott Johnson, the leadoff hitter for Kansas City. Dick Bramer, Bert Blyleven joined here this evening and throughout the series up in the booth by Ron Coomer. Chopped to the right side, of foul ball. And Coom, we were showing with our Phantom Cam the ball that Justin Morneau hit off the end, and you get a sense how much vibration there is when you don't see it in regular speed, but you see it in super slow motion like that. The bat really vibrates, doesn't it?
Well, super slow motion, the bat vibrates. You were going to see a lot of things that we really haven't seen from the hitters with this camera. It's very, very interesting.
Florimon backhands it, rifles its throw just in time to get the speedy Johnson one down.
Yeah, that's what he is right there. Johnson kind of put in that lineup to create some speed in their lineup, and Johnson almost beat that out.
7 in a row set down by Deduno.
Chris Getz getting sent down, struggling a little bit. Johnson, but a good strong throw by Florimon. He kind of maybe didn't get a good grip on that ball right at the beginning, but see Johnson's speed. Bang bang play.
Speaking of speed, Gerard Dyson, the batter, takes ball one.
Dyson just activated off the disabled list about 5 days ago with a sprained right ankle. This guy can fly.
He may be the fastest man in the American League. The Twins have had players like that. Revere's going back to, I think, a guy you played with, Coom, Otis Nixon. What they want to do, just hit the ball on the ground and run.
I played with Otis in Cleveland.
Odio.
Yeah.
he was special. But yeah, what you're looking for from a guy like Johnson is just what he did, and that's what they're looking for from Dyson, is for him to stay on top of the baseball and drive it in that hole between short and third and let his speed take over.
And landed in front of the batter's box, 2-2.
Yeah, these are the guys that don't want to hit the fly ball for an out. They want to beat it into the ground and utilize their speed, just like Johnson did. But I was watching Dyson take batting practice here prior to the game, and that's what he was doing, just trying to slap it to short and then run.
Back to DeDuno. Another assist. Another quick second out, 2 down. Well, you know, in that sense, if that's the direction the Royals want to go, whether George Brett stays as their hitting coach or not, but that would be kind of a turn back the clock effort by them.
Yep.
The turn of the feet right there, Ron.
See the phantom cam, you see the front foot trying to stay closed, and then you see his back foot pivot up onto the toe. It's very good mechanics from the waist down for a hitter.
Almost like he's ready in a starting block to take off.
2 down, Gordon the batter. But the Royals, when they were good, and they were really good in the 70s and into the 80s, speed was the principal weapon that they had in their lineup. It wasn't power. Brett could run a little bit. Willie Wilson, Amos Otis.
Speaking of a guy that was fast, Willie Wilson.
Yeah.
Woo.
But they played on the rug in Kansas City, and they slashed the ball into the outfield and get a lot of doubles and triples, which made up for their lack of home run power.
You know, when you talk about speed like that throughout a lineup, it also really changes the game for a ball club defensively. You know, you're talking about those teams with Willie Wilson, those guys running out there in the outfield, covering those gaps. There's just not a lot of hits out there when guys can run like that.
On the outside corner, 2-2 to Gordon, who has the only Kansas City hit, for that matter, the only hit of the game. Hit a little nubber between the mound and the first base bag. Little confusion between Morneau and Dozier and DeDuno. Dozier juggled it, and Gordon ended up with a hit and ended up at third base.
And when you talk about lack of power, that's what the Royals have. They don't have a lot of power. Only 42 home runs, and this is their 76th game.
Twins are 14th in the league in home runs,
yep.
But they've got half again as many as the Royals do. Gordon strikes out. Another 1-2-3 inning for DeDuno. He set down 9 men in a row. Our Pepsi fans of the game been waiting for the Twins to come back and play at Target Field. Tonight, the first of 8 straight home games, 4 with the Royals, 4 with the Yankees.
Yeah, Twins are 19-7, 17 here at home.
You can take part in the AT&T Twitter poll. We're asking you, which will Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak ever be broken? You can vote via Twitter using the following hashtags: 57 yes, 57 no.
Do we get to vote?
Got your smartphone out. Chris Parmalee leading off the third, and he takes up an away ball 1. Parmalee, Dozier, and Florimone.
Guthrie has retired all 6 hitters he has faced so far on 30 pitches in the first 2 innings.
Parmalee to center. Dyson back, still back. Makes the catch on the warning track. 400 feet from home plate. One down. Coming up in about a month. Less than that, actually. Baseball's greatest stars gather for the biggest event of the summer. The Midsummer Classic returns to New York. Home field advantage for the World Series on the line. The 2013 Major League All-Star Game live from Citi Field in New York, July 16th, only on Fox. It'll be here at Target Field next year. And the Twins announced yesterday that a couple of their bright young stars will be heading to New York as part of the Futures game. Byron Buxton and Miguel Sano.
Yeah, Buxton getting promoted to Single-A Fort Myers, high Single-A, and Sano now hitting home runs in Double-A.
You got another one today.
Yep.
2-0 to Brian Dozier. He's looking for the first base runner against Guthrie, hoping to get him into the stretch, string some things together. 2-0. And a strike at the knees. The Twins trying to do what their Triple-A team, even the Double-A team trying to do, to get back to the 500 mark and then above. Rochester Red Wings got off to a slow start. Now they're close to the 500 mark. New Britain kind of in the same situation. One of the frustrating things about this road trip, 1 and 4 for the Twins on the road trip, and that kind of set them back in their quest to get back to 500.
Well, that's one thing that both these clubs would like to do. You know, the Royals 3 games under 500, Twins 6 games. Yeah, get back to that 500 and then maybe hopefully take off from there. High breaking ball right there, and Dozier a strikeout victim for Guthrie, his second strikeout.
8 up, 8 down for Guthrie.
Ron Coomer, the difference between a ground ball and a fly ball.
Well, you see the bat going through. You see Johnson on the left, on top of the baseball going down. This is a swing on the right by Parmalee, who really goes down through the baseball, and we saw that right at contact. And what you want to do, like what Parmalee's doing, is drive your hands down to the ball, hit the baseball, and create that backspin, and that's where you get the carry on the ball, and that's why you hit the ball 400 feet to straightaway center field.
Hit that ball a long way, just one of the deepest parts of this field here, Target Field.
Lazy fly to center. Dyson's there. Perfect first trip through the Twins batting order for Jeremy Guthrie. So far, Twins tickets remain available and affordable. A summer's worth of good times here at the ballpark. Don't miss the fun. Check out the steal of the week and demand-based pricing for great deals on single-game purchases all season long. Call 833-TWINS. Go to twinsbaseball.com/tickets. Alcides Escobar leads off the fourth and takes a breaking pitch. Strike one.
Both pitchers are doing it a little bit differently. Guthrie with 5 fly ball outs and a couple ground ball outs, where DeDuno's had 5 ground ball outs and 2 fly ball outs. Both of them have 2 strikeouts.
Easy play for Morneau and an easy first out for DeDuno.
And another ground ball out, number 6 already for DeDuno.
Well, and you just don't see good quality swings off DeDuno. That swing there, you know, that ball absolutely beating Escobar, and just, you know, that's an absolute defensive swing. You just never fall into a pattern as a hitter of trying to understand what DeDuno's doing with his fastball.
I was going to ask you that, Ron. When you face a guy like this, that, you know, there's a fastball, it's one of the better hit balls.
Garcia back on the warning track, makes the catch out, number 2.
Yeah, nice catch right there. That fastball didn't have much movement right there, but you see he throws a lot of breaking balls. That fastball always has movement to create the ground ball outs he's had so far. What do you sit on as a hitter?
Well, I think
what like Hosmer did right there?
Hosmer looked first pitch fastball, obviously got the head of the bat out to it and was looking hard right away. To me, in watching DeDuno pitch, especially this year when he's had some success, he's had more command of his breaking ball than he does the fastball, as you see the breaking ball for strike one.
Ron Gardenhire said today in discussing DeDuno, he said DeDuno's always impressed him as a guy who can throw his breaking ball for a strike anytime he wants, and what he used to run into trouble with was getting ahead with the fastball. It would sail all over the place, and he'd find himself in unfavorable counts, but he's done more and more of what he just did to Butler. Get that breaking pitch over for strike one.
Question I have to Bert, somebody who pitched for as many years as you did, this, to me, his release point and his body motion going towards home changes some with the fastball, but with the curveball, it's like he slows down and he's able to just throw the pitch.
Plouffe digs it out, sets and fires.
Whatever he's doing, keep doing it.
He's retired 12 in a row. Last couple of home stands, they've hit the ball better, they've hit the ball over the fence better, but the big thing is they've pitched better.
You can't argue that right there. Look at the runs, almost the same, but look at the team ERA, almost a point and a half better, a run and a half better.
Haven't done much offensively here, haven't done anything offensively against Jeremy Guthrie. You're talking about how DeDuno and Guthrie have gone about things differently tonight. That's kind of the way their season has gone. Here's Thomas taking a first pitch strike. No one in the major leagues has allowed more home runs than Jeremy Guthrie. 19.
No, Dan Herron has with the Nationals. 19. Yeah, I checked it.
Yeah, but no one's given up more home runs than Jeremy Guthrie with 19.
Right.
19 and 19 are the same.
Yes.
No one's given up 20.
It's 19.
19.
It's 19.
And DeDuno's only given up one all year long. So Tonight's Cold Hard Fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Joe Mauer has done very well within the division.
Well, Joe Mauer, I mean, it's how you win 3 batting titles, Ron. You just control your division. 76 games are played within your division, and that's why he hits over 300 every year.
Well, he has a great plan at home plate and stays disciplined to the plan. Never really gives in as he takes his first pitch fastball. We've seen him take a lot of pitches down the middle of the plate early in a count. He's not afraid to hit deep into the count. And I really believe he feels better each at bat. The more pitches he sees, the better he feels in the at bat.
1 strike to Mauer. Had a rocket up the middle and it sailed right past Guthrie's left ear. Guthrie, I think, got the thumb of his glove on it and it deflected over to Escobar. It was a frightening way to get the second out of the ballgame.
And I guarantee you Jeremy Guthrie remembers that, and that's why you saw that pitch inside. If you're going to go in, you better get that baby in.
If he's going to hit it, he's going to pull it.
Yeah.
1-1. Thomas aboard with the Twins' first hit. And Mauer taps it foul. 1-2.
Guthrie so far today has done a very good job of mixing up his pitches. To me, the one thing, he's always had a good fastball in the mid-90s, but his breaking pitch, against the Twins hitters, he's thrown a lot more early in counts and gotten ahead a lot like Duno has, and has pitched a little backwards to some of the lefties of the Twins.
I think when you put a Guthrie and all of a sudden you add a James Shields and maybe a Santana, maybe Wade Davis, other guys around him, you're going to learn. In Baltimore, it was kind of Jeremy Guthrie was kind of the ace of the club.
Fly ball center field. Dyson waits, makes the catch. Thomas retreats to first, 1 away.
Just see this swing by Joe Mauer. This pitch inside and almost in off the plate. Now you look at how long Joe stays inside this baseball. Hands get brought in, trying to get his hands inside to get the barrel of the bat on the ball. That's just a good pitch by Guthrie and good location on Joe Mauer. If Joe we've seen Joe do that a lot, but just stay on top of that baseball a little more and drive that ball back through the middle for a base hit.
And you look at Joe's eyes too, where they were just like focused right on contact.
Thomas warned of Perez before the series. Got back to the bag. This guy loves to throw to the bases.
Yeah, shades of Ivan Rodriguez,
Tony Pena,
Benito Santiago, Tony
one of their
Pena,
old co-managers.
When you think about it, I've always been surprised as just a fan of the game why catchers don't do that more, particularly in a situation like this, a right-handed batter. It's a 90-foot throw for the catcher. It's a low-risk throw toward the hole and off the tip of Moustakas' glove. And Willingham gets a base hit to left, first and second, 1 away.
Dick, to your point about throwing behind runners, to me, if a guy hit a leadoff triple in an inning, I'm standing on third base as third baseman. You're expecting that guy to score. I would call a pickoff at third base as much as I could, just try to pick him off. See, this ball staying down and not coming up. The infield been watered down just because of the heat, and that ball stayed down on third base.
That's a game of inches right there. That ball's over a couple inches. It might be a double play. Yep. Instead, it's a base hit. There's Perez right there.
Pretty good throw on percentage. That's in stolen base attempts. It doesn't account for the pickoffs. First and second, 1 down. Morneau at the plate. Fouled. Morneau hit one off the end of the bat, hit a sinking line drive to right. David Lowe made the catch for the first out of the second inning.
But Ron, go back to my point, Guthrie, you said he's doing a good job of adding and subtracting. That, when you're around other guys like James Shields and maybe not as much Santana because he's kind of a hard thrower, but you learn. And then as you get older too, he's 34 years old. He's starting to realize that I can't get that 94, 95 mile an hour fastball.
Slash down the left field line, a base hit. Thomas around third, he'll score. Willingham to third. Morneau to second with an RBI double, and the Twins get the first run of the game.
Great piece of hitting by Morneau. He takes this pitch down and away and just slices it to the left field corner. To me, Justin has been pitched down there and down and away a whole bunch this season. Watch his eyes go to contact, as it's so important to stay through this baseball and track it with your eyes so you don't come off the ball. To me, it's amazing the vibration that goes through that bat when the contact is made with the baseball.
Royals bring the infield in here for Arcia. That's not a very safe thing to do. Breaking ball off the plate, ball one. And Yost figuring, look, this is going to be a low-scoring game. We're already down 1 run. We're going to try to make sure we don't trail by more. But if you're Elliott Johnson or Eric Hosmer, might make you swallow your gum. To right center field. Down for a hit. And Arcia will score. Willingham and Morneau held up, thinking the ball might be caught. 3 straight hits for the Twins, and Arcia drives in his 23rd run of the year.
Boy, he hit that ball in a perfect place. You have some speed out there in Lowe and Dyson, but that high pitch right there just hit in the right spot. And you're right, Dick. Both runners had to hold up. Willingham was tagging up. Morneau had to kind of hang out at second base. Was this ball going to be caught? Look at the hands move on the bat.
The handle of the bat wiggling, and then you understand why so many bats break.
Bats break, thumbs break, hamate bones break. To me, the cool thing about that swing, though, is if you take a look at his
Watch
top
the handle
hand,
of the bat here.
See how long his top hand stays underneath? That is just great hitting mechanics where the top hand doesn't come over until way after contact. That's why that ball stayed elevated in the gap for a base hit.
2 in. Twins need to get that runner in from third with less than 2 outs. Plouffe at the plate. Ball one.
This is the area on the road trip that the Twins had trouble with. Runners at first and third, 1 out, no outs. Get that runner in.
Middle of the lineup, the 3, 4, and 5 batters have all hit here now. Willingham, Morneau, and Arcia. Plouffe trying to keep the line moving. One of the reasons I just sense that the team might have a really good homestand and hit well in situations like this. I think for the first time in a long time, they're hitting with confidence at home. They've seen the ball travel and get out of the ballpark here a lot. The Twins hitters have never really had that. Here's a chopper to the right side. Plouffe's got to hurry. Plouffe's got to hurry. And he hits into a double play. Twins get just the 2. Plouffe hits into a double play.
I'm Jamie Hirsch inside the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle with a great big Circle Me Bert sign. I'm with the Smith family. They're here all the way from Huron, South Dakota, and this is the last stop of your vacation. So what else have you guys done?
Valley Fair, Minnesota Zoo, and Mall of America.
That sounds like a great vacation. You said you've been to Twins game before, but this is your first time at Target Field. What do you think?
This is awesome. Great.
Well, thanks for being here tonight. I know the kids are excited. We're going to give you $100 worth of Minnesota Lottery scratch-off tickets for being here.
Thank you.
And Dick and Bert, they said they're heading back halfway tonight. Their son has a baseball game tomorrow, so they're going to hurry back for that.
All right. Very nice.
Yeah, good luck to him. And you were here by Circle.
The Twins in front here so far, 2-0. Salvador Perez with a 1-1 count. Duduno pitching with the lead for the first time. 2-1. He's retired the last 12 batters.
He needed only 6 pitches to retire the Royals in order in the 4th.
Driven to left, and Perez has hit a home run to cut the lead in half. Just the second home run hit this year against Duduno, and the first home run hit against him since his first start back in May.
That's when Don Kelly hit a 2-run home run off of Duduno, but this was a fastball, and we talked about the movement. Coom, this had no movement. This was right there.
Yeah, this is a pitch in the middle of the plate. We'll see the replay. And it's just middle of the plate, thigh high, and that's, pitch he'd like to get back.
I'll have to ask the fan on the second deck for it.
Yeah.
2-1, and Mike Moustakas the batter. Breaking ball over for a strike.
And that home run by Perez, his 4th of the year.
And a liner snagged by Florimon, and then falls down in the outfield grass. A pretty well hit ball for the first out of the 5th inning. Twins fans, join your favorite players at Hang with the Majors August 1st at Toby Keith's in St. Louis Park. Hang with the Majors, a fun, informal event that benefits the Minnesota Military Family Foundation. Go to twinsbaseball.com/community or call 612-659-3426 for more info. David Lowe, the batter, called out on strikes his first time up. Action earlier today. The Angels beat the Tigers again for the 9th straight time. 3-1 in 10 innings. The Tigers were swept at home against the Angel team that has struggled against everybody else this year except Detroit. So, for what it's worth, if the Twins can win this game, they're 6 games behind Detroit. If the Royals were to win the game, even though they would be below 500, they'd be only 4.5 out. Outside, 3-0.
And if I remember correctly, Dick, last year the Tigers did come back to the pack right around this time of the year. They hit a big skid. They came back, and then they got hot in September and just kind of pushed their way right into the playoffs.
Yeah, other than Max Scherzer, all their starters have really struggled. Now, I don't know who started today, but
it was Fister today.
Yeah, I mean, not bad. I mean, it went extra innings, 3-1 ball game, so he must have pitched well. But Verlander really hasn't been sharp yet. And Porcello's been hitting around a lot.
And the bullpen has been a big issue for the Tigers this year.
Closer role been a revolving door for the Tigers.
Valverde, by the way, cleared waivers. He's been assigned to Toledo, and he's going to tinker with his mechanics, trying to get back to a shadow of what he was for a couple of years with the Tigers. Johnson, the batter. And a first pitch fastball, strike 1.
So you think those fielders for Toledo are happy that they got Valverde? Because the 9th inning is going to add about another 15 minutes to their game.
You wonder whether that might not be something the Tigers would tell him to do. Whether that's in any way contributing to his ineffectiveness. Hey, if you're going to try to reinvent yourself, let's pick up the pace a little bit. Oh, the bat sailing near the Twins dugout.
Watch out, Jamie.
Jamie, you all right over there? Notice we don't care about any of the guys.
Yeah, luckily, guys, I was just coming down from the Circle Me Bert sign, so I'm safely away, but I'm just a few rows back from there.
Yeah, Bruce is down there. We don't care about Bruce.
Poor Bruce.
Rob's down there. We don't care. As long as Jamie's okay. 2 strikes to Johnson. Could be 2. Out. I'm not sure that Dozier ever tagged low, but at the very least he ran out of the baseline and the inning ends. It's 2-1.
Well, Twins with a 2-1 lead. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Go ahead. And the accounts.
Counts of this game? Scripted? I can't see it.
May not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins.
We're in a lot of trouble because now you guys are sharing the road trip, right?
I see. I have my glasses on. You don't have your glasses on.
Like, he handed them my hello.
Now, what's the deal on the next road trip? You're going to...
He's staying home. We know what he's doing.
I'll be in Tampa for the 4-game series. You're going to Toronto and New York.
Toronto and New York?
This isn't one of those deals where they won't let you into the country of Canada anymore,
could be. Don't you need a passport?
Yeah?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
Parmalee, 1 strike and now a ball, 1-1.
No, go back to Valverde, and I want to get you guys' opinion. You know, he does take a lot of time between pitches. Isn't it up to the umpire? Doesn't baseball have a rule that there's 12 seconds, I believe, between pitches? And tell the umpires, make him throw that ball quicker and call it a ball if he's taking too much time. He won't get quicker.
But all 3 of us know the umpires. We've been around this league a long time. The umpires are not going to get involved, I don't think, in that decision. That's got to come from the league and start saying something. But to me, how do you ever get into a rhythm when you take that much time in between pitches?
Parmalee takes a call, 3rd strike, 1 down. Get ready, fans, for Fox Sports 1, America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports, all the news and highlights you want, shows and specials that only Fox could bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1, coming August 17th. 1 down. Brian Dozier, the batter, went down swinging. Went after a high breaking pitch for the 2nd out of the 3rd inning. At any rate, the Tigers to this point have proven to be invincible when a lot of people thought they would be invincible. Fly to right field, fairly deep, Lowe chasing it, and catches it out of the palm of his glove.
I saw a little snow cone right there.
That's kind of the same play Arcia had in Miami when he was unsure how how deep the warning track was and how close he was getting to the wall.
Yeah, low going back across and then straight back. But able to hold on to it. Take a look right here. Ball in his glove. Did it do any movement? Yes. Oh, that's what we saw. We just saw the ball. No snow cone. Right in the middle.
Florimo, the batter.
Be a nice night for us, some snow cones.
One strike. And now a ball. Would like to get Florimo going again. The batting average falling down to 225.
Oh, look what I found.
I tell you what, Guthrie's led a charmed life here tonight. Mauer's liner whistled right past his ear. Florimo hits a rocket right back to his glove.
Lucky he's not in the hospital.
Frost brewed Coors Light. They say the key for players who are called up is to slow the game down. That's what we're doing tonight with the Phantom can.
Now that's compressing a baseball.
It's amazing.
Love the close, tight shot of Joe and his eyes tracking the ball to contact.
Dyson shows bunt, takes a ball. Dyson, Gordon, and Escobar facing Deduno in the sixth. Deduno has walked one man. He's given up 2 hits. One of them traveled 90 feet. The other one traveled 490 feet.
Yeah, corner of the infield you want to play in. Take the bunt away from him.
And Dyson bunts it hard to Morneau. 1 away. Sanford Health injury report. Tommy Hansen placed on the 15-day disabled list with a right forearm strain. And every time you see that, you think, oh boy, let's hope it's nothing more than that. Angels have had enough health issues. And on the subject of health, sad news today regarding the former All-Star catcher Darren Dalton, who's been diagnosed with a couple of brain tumors. He's going to have surgery, and always admired the way he played. And he's gotten into the media business in Philadelphia, so we wish him and the Phillies the very best as he moves forward.
Our prayers are with him.
Old Dutch, he was a leader. He could definitely lead that Philly team when they were so good for so many years.
1 strike to Gordon. He hit the 90-foot base hit. Start the ball game, a little squibber toward Dozier. He didn't field it cleanly, and it's kind of a confusing play for Deduno, Morneau, and Dozier. And Gordon ended up reaching with an infield hit, and a couple of other numbers advanced him to third base, but then Butler lined out to center to end the inning.
Gordon kind of frustrated with that last swing. He was looking breaking ball and got it, and still took a bad swing.
Florimone has to charge it. fires over to Morneau, 2 down. Well, Deduno with a very good outing so far here tonight. Just the long home run by Perez, limiting his walks, and perhaps going to be in position to beat the Royals for the second time already this year.
Yeah, he came into this ballgame 2-0. He actually won his first major league game against the Royals last year in Kansas City. Back on July 22nd.
First pitch strike. What's encouraging, I mean, we saw some of this last year from Deduno in the 6th inning. He had some really good games against some really good lineups, Texas and Boston, but the pitch count was about 50% higher than it is now.
Even in his last start in Cleveland, he pitched 6 very good innings, only gave up 2 runs, went out for the 7th, gave up a hit and a walk. Boom, he's out, and you can see he's had a very good pitch count here this afternoon or this evening.
The bullpen allowed some inherited runners to score in that 7th inning, but through the 6th, 3 of them were 1-2-3 innings, and most of the damage done to Deduno in that game were added. The numbers were added to his line after he left the game. Here's a ball poked to center, and Escobar keeps the inning alive with a 2-out single.
Well, Escobar going down and hitting a pretty good pitch right there. Not much you can do.
Well, that's Escobar looking, and most of these Royal hitters now sitting breaking ball and looking for that pitch. That's how you stay on that ball. The only way you hit that pitch down almost in the dirt is you're looking for that. You see how he's tried to do his best to keep his weight back and let that ball get to him, even though Deduno's got great movement on a breaking ball going down.
Eric Hosmer, the batter, a warning track fly ball to left field his last time up. A bouncer to Morneau his first time up. Over the inside corner, strike 1. Hosmer's average climbing up, and it's in a respectable range right now, but the Royals are frustrated with the 4 home runs. Up the line, foul. With the home run hit by Perez, the Twins have now hit 68 home runs and allowed 70. They didn't homer at all in Miami and gave up 3 home runs. 72 pitches for Deduno, 49 strikes, 23 balls.
10 ground ball outs for Deduno. And that double play last inning, only the 3rd double play turned behind him, and I still wonder why. I mean, you know, he's got that good sinker, movement all the time, only 3 double plays. This is his 7th start.
Well, he's walking about 1 guy every 3 innings, and opponents are only hitting 261. Right. So maybe that's part of the reason. He just hasn't given up as many base runners. 1-2 to Hosmer. Poked to short. Florimone sets and throws low to Morneau. He makes the catch to end the inning. It's still 2-1. Try the new Premium McWrap at McDonald's today. I'm loving it. And by Toyota. Let's go places. To find your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Good outing for Samuel Deduno. Twins in front 2-1. A busy night for basketball as the NBA draft gets underway tonight. Get complete coverage on all the Timberwolves picks and organizational moves from Phil Irvin at FoxSportsNorth.com. Cleat Thomas started the 2-run fourth. Got the first Twins hit, a ground ball up the middle for a clean single. And he takes down and away ball one. Twins did string some things together against Guthrie. In fact, in the other innings, he's had 1, 2, 3 innings. Thomas wallops it down to the corner, but he hooks it foul. Mentioned that Guthrie had a long run of success for the Royals. 18 starts without a loss. 10-0, an ERA at 2.21 during that stretch. But since then, in his 8 starts, he's 2-5. 1-1 to Thomas. Foul back 1-2. And speaking of the Royals rotation, we said yesterday, and this is the way the Royals had it set up, that when Kyle Gibson pitches here on Saturday, as of yesterday, he was going to face James Shields. But the Royals have moved Shields up to tomorrow, and it'll be Wade Davis facing Gibson on Saturday. Ned Yost explaining before the game that the reason they moved Shields up a day is it allows them, moving him up a day, allows them to get one more start out of Shields before the All-Star break. He's their #1 guy,
right?
And so they decided to tinker with the rotation a little bit here in Minnesota. Thomas off the end of the bat foul.
Shields always one of those guys, pitch a lot of innings. He, likes being in that #1 spot, has always done very well.
He's your horse.
Yeah.
2-2. Down and in 3-2. Another full count to Cleat Thomas.
Guthrie has not walked anybody yet. Does have 3 strikeouts. This will be pitch number 70.
Up the middle, hit the mound, wicked hop, fielded by Escobar, and he throws Thomas out, 1 down. Mauer hitless tonight, but it's been a good week or so for Joe Mauer.
Over the last 8 ball games, hitting .444.
He just really stays with his plan, and to me, over this last road trip, you watch him just spraying balls around the field. But to me, the discipline that this guy shows, I wonder what it'd be like to be able to hit like that. That's what I'd like to know.
How many hitters, I'll ask you guys, have you seen that are as good with 2 strikes as Joe Mauer is?
Wade Boggs.
He's the first guy that comes to mind for me, too. And was not afraid, because what Boggsy would do is he would definitely take the first pitch and probably the second pitch. If he went 1-1, he was probably taking the third pitch. And I mean, he was one of those guys, Burton, you remember, and Dick, how he tracked the ball to the catcher's glove and did not mind at all hitting with 2 strikes.
1-1 to Mauer.
Remember that game in Cleveland? Corey Kluber started. And the second batter, first pitch, Joe Mauer hit the home run. I mean, such an unusual at-bat for Joe to swing at the first pitch, and then also hit it deep. That was rewarded. But to swing at the first pitch of the ball game,
you rarely see him do that.
Foul back, 2-2.
There's
his hot zone with 2 strikes. When you throw it down the middle with 2 strikes, he's going to hit 500.
And you're trying to throw the ball down in the zone, and down and away, everybody's 100 on the black outside corner.
That's what you want to control. It's just hard controlling it on a consistent basis.
Escobar playing behind the second base bag, gets the ground ball. Mauer retired, 2 down.
Well, that's 2 times Joe has hit that ball right back up the middle, and the defense for the Royals, give him credit. They have Joe to hit it up the middle, and he has. The first one past the ear of Guthrie, and that one right there, inside out swing. A lot of spin on that ball, but good job by Escobar.
And you can tell what the plan is to get Joe out. They've pitched him in. He hit the bullet past Guthrie's ear early in the game. Then he hit the ball to center field. That was the flyout. That pitch was in off the plate. And now that pitch jammed him. They swing the defense around on the ground because he's going to end up pulling that ball if he's going to get a hit.
Strike one to Willingham. Twins have 4 hits against Jeremy Guthrie, and they came in a span of 5 at-bats in the 4th inning. Scored a couple of runs. That's why they're leading 2-1. Breaking ball, a swing and a miss.
Yeah, Willingham hit that past that ball just out of the reach of Moustakas in the left field. And again, you know, you're only talking maybe a ball length of maybe the Twins getting out of that inning with no runs. Instead, that inning continued and they picked up 2.
Foul back just beneath us.
Watch out.
Willingham, one of the guys I'm looking forward to this weekend, where we got this slow, super slow camera, the phantom camera, of watching him go down to the baseball, drive his hands down, and really create the backspin. I hope he hits a home run this weekend so we can take a look at that.
Hey, Ron, you were a power hitter like Josh, okay? I'm seeing him hit some long fly balls. I mean, high, deep fly balls. He's just missing, I say, a quarter of an inch from really, you know, hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
And a lot of that has to do with either your eyes coming off the ball right at the end and you come off it just enough to where you don't square the ball up, you know, or he's out in front and the speed of the pitch has gotten him and he's just a little out in front and his swing starts finishing before he makes contact.
He's very close.
Very close.
2-2.
He's really fun to watch when he's locked in, though.
Oh,
he can hit the ball a mile.
I made the comment, of course, what do I know about hitting, but to see where
nothing. Yeah.
But to see where Willingham's hits have been on the road, he's hitting the ball hard up the middle. It seems like that's, you know, he's just about around the corner.
Without question, that's by design too. When I watched him before he went on the road, even in batting practice, hook, everything was from the left fielder to the left field foul pole. And when you guys went on the road, he started spraying the ball back through the middle of the field, and that's a good sign.
And now just outside, 3-2.
It's been a good at bat right here for Willingham.
Takes like that are something we didn't see, you know, a month ago, and he's getting closer to being locked in again.
35 home runs last year, drove in 110 runs, and a good at bat. He draws a walk, the first walk for Guthrie.
And it gets Morneau to the plate with a man aboard and 2 out. Morneau's hit 2 line drives. He pulled one a little bit off the end of the bat into right field. Lowe made a nice catch. And then in that cluster of hits for the Twins in the 4th inning, 4 hits and 5 at bats, it was Morneau's double down the left field line that drove in the first game run of the game.
And I think where we see, you know, Guthrie working Mauer inside, they've been working Justin away.
Infield shift is on for Morneau. And time called.
And they're going to pitch Justin away, play him away in the outfield, because when he elevates the ball, when they pitch him away, he elevates the ball the other way. If he hooks the ball, he's going to hook the ground ball, and that's why the defense is shifted around on the infield.
Down and in, ball 1. Now, if you're a hitter, were you shifted to the pull side at all?
No.
To this degree? Okay.
Not even close. My gap that I really naturally hit the ball to is right center field.
Okay.
I had to work at pulling the ball as I became a big league player.
And as a player that's up at the plate right now, Justin, do you know where the shift is? I mean, do you even look at that, or are you isolated on the pitcher and the release? I mean, when you first walk up there, you go, boy, the second baseman's out, like, you know, out in short right field.
I would definitely want to know as a hitter, because I felt like if they were going to shift me around to the pull side, I had the bat control with my hands to hit the ball the other way if need be.
Into the right field corner and down for a hit. How far can Willingham go? To third. They're waving him around. Relay from Johnson to the plate, and he is out. Morneau with another double, and Willingham, as fast as he could, got home, but it wasn't quite in time. A good relay by the Royals, and it's still 2-1.
Like you mentioned, Dick, you know, Guthrie had retired the first 9 in a row, but then in the 4th inning, Twins were able to get 4 hits. Willingham and Thomas base hits. Morneau with an RBI double, followed by Arcia's RBI single. That made it 2-0.
Butler cracks the first pitch of the 7th inning into right field for a single.
Only the 4th hit for the Royals. Perez hitting the home run to lead off the 5th inning for the Royals scoring.
So Duduno to the stretch. With the tying run at first, nobody out. Perez hit one into the upper deck, second deck, here at Target Field for the lone Kansas City run, leading off the 5th inning. First pitch over for a strike. Talking about double plays, and Duduno hasn't gotten many. A situation here where one would be welcome. Perez has hit into 6 of them in 232 at bats. Breaking ball lifted to left field. Arcia as it landed his feet off the end of the bat. And Perez backs up Butler's single with another one, and now Moustakas with the tying run at second, nobody out.
That's kind of a hard ball to judge right there because of the way he swung right there, and the ball just kind of drifted into a short left field rather than a line drive to Arcia.
Well, he hit one ball into the second deck, as Dick was mentioning. The same exact swing on a breaking ball hits off the end, and as an outfielder, you just try to freeze and not move one way or the other, but because of that, it ends up dropping in.
Well, you see Rick Anderson getting on the phone to the bullpen. This is where Duduno was last time out in Cleveland. 6 very good innings, and then the first couple runners got on. The bullpen came in, gave up his runs. See if he can get out of this inning.
Moustakas, a fly ball to center and a line drive to Florimo. In the air, poor bunt over the Kansas City dugout. We're near it. 1 strike. Moustakas does not have a sacrifice bunt.
I can see why.
Well, clearly he's not highly thought of because of the Royals' desire to have him be a bunter. But if you're going to hit 214 or whatever it is now, 212, you'd better be able to get the ball down when asked. Corner infielders up, and Moustakas this time takes inside, showing no signs of bunting. 1-1.
Interesting this inning, the first hit by Butler. him shooting the ball the other way, a breaking ball, and then the second hit by Perez, also a breaking ball, and both swings, good swings. Seeing the Royals really sit on off-speed pitches by Duduno.
2-1. You saw Fien and Thielbar warming up in a hurry in the Twins bullpen. Been one thing that's the Twins have been victimized by on the road. The worst 3 innings seem to be the last 3 or 4 innings. Usually that's been a strength of this Twins team, with an efficient bullpen, stranding runners and pitching effectively. That was not the case on the road trip. 2-1 to Moustakas.
It's a pitcher you still think ground ball. Get a ground ball.
Lifted to right. Retreating is Parmelee. And there's the out. Butler will chug to third. 1 down.
Let's go back to the base, or the double by Justin Morneau with Willingham at first base. You see the contact right there, Ron. Solid contact.
Solid contact out in front as he drives his hands. As Morneau kind of has a flat swing. We'll see the play at the plate.
What a perfect relay right there. Perez making the tag.
Look at how close that is at home plate.
Right there, he's out. Yeah. Right before the foot got on the plate. First and third, 1 down.
Great shot right there.
David Lowe, the batter. Plouffe in on the edge of the grass at third. Lowe runs very well. Tough guy to double up. Duduno did strike him out in the second. And Lowe started that great relay, and we talk about it, and talk about it maybe more when it doesn't happen than when it does. But the importance of hitting the cutoff man. Perfect
throw to the cutoff man. Perfect relay to the plate. Great tag by Perez by letting the ball get to him and then bringing the tag down. The big difference from eras past, you see that leg get dropped down and blocking home plate, where now catchers give home plate to the guy sliding, catch the ball and do more of a tag like I would at third base, as opposed to blocking home plate like we saw years ago.
And that's a big man right there, Perez. I mean, he could have put a hurting on Willingham right there, but I think he knew he had the ball in time to be able to make the sweep tag. If it's going to be a bang play, then he may have, dropped that left knee into that dirt.
I was talking with Terry Steinbach about that today, because there's still some concern about how Yan Gomes handled the play in Cleveland, stepping on home plate without the ball. And Terry said that one of the guys who used to do that a lot was Mike Scioscia when he was a catcher. He would almost sit on the plate before receiving the ball and dare the runner to try to knock him off the plate.
And that's to my point. What you see now is the catcher's left heel on the plate, but up in front of the plate, not blocking. Played good fastball by Duduno, 92 miles an hour.
And I mentioned Ed Ott with the Pittsburgh Pirates, the troll. We call him the troll. Nobody crossed home plate without a fight. I mean, that's basically it. It's changed.
1 strike to David Lowe, and all the conversations Mauer's had, Anderson's had, probably on how to strike David Lowe out right here. There's 1 strike. There's 2 strikes.
Good hard breaking ball there. Strike 1. And then the hard breaking ball. So Duduno ahead in the count.
Struck him out looking with a curve on the outside corner back in the second inning.
Yeah, you want to go back inside right here with that hard breaking ball, just like he did on that previous pitch.
The slider, right?
You want to, yeah. Anything away, he may slap it the other way.
Two strikes to Lowe. Foul tip. Mauer hangs on. Mission accomplished on 3 pitches.
Went back inside again. And that's a huge strikeout for Samuel Duduno. His 3rd strikeout of the ball game.
And I really like the pitch selection, as you guys were talking about. You saw Butler with the breaking ball base hit. You saw Perez with the breaking ball base hit. And then all of a sudden, Duduno goes to the hard stuff and blows a hitter away. What a great shot.
What a great catch by Mauer, too, because it looked like he tipped that ball, but right into the glove.
Now, Twins need to get Johnson. Breaking ball, tapped foul. This is, in terms of development, a big moment for Samuel DeDuno. The pitch count very reasonable, but he's given up in a tight ball game, a one-run ball game, pair of hits to start the 7th inning, and the Twins are leaving it up to DeDuno to get out of the inning.
That's what I was going to say. Let him, win or lose his own ball game right here. It's up to him. See how much he has left in that tank.
But a big part of that is the pitch count was kept down low to allow him to, approach the 7th inning, hopefully get through it with less than 90 pitches.
Yeah, he's not at 110 pitches,
Right.
112 pitches. He's been in the game and he's been controlled most of this ball game.
1-1 to the number 8 batter. Grounder to short. Florimon will end the inning himself. Great job by Samuel DeDuno. A pair of hits to start the inning, but the Royals still trail by a run. Twins still leading 2-1. You can get into the broadcast on Fox Sports North and talk baseball. Submit a question online at carsoup.com/baseball. Tonight's question from Jeff in Richfield, wondering what's impressed us the most about Oswaldo Arcia this season.
Well, this is a young guy that, is really able to do a lot of things. But to me, when you look at him as a hitter, his aggressiveness at home plate, Gardy's got to love getting a young guy that's up there letting her rip. And the willingness to take chances at the plate. He's looking to hit the ball a long way on a regular basis. And I was watching him today, as we all do, take batting practice. This is a guy that has the personality of somebody who wants to do damage at home plate. He's launching balls into the upper deck. That's a personality of a hitter. You got to love these young guys coming to the league and swinging that bat.
I always saw Ken Griffey Jr. kind of put his head on that right shoulder, and it looks like Arcia does that to keep that right shoulder in, so he kind of goes toward wherever that pitch is.
Yeah, it's a great point.
1-1 to Arcia.
Oh, I call him a diver. He's a little bit of a diver. That's why some fastballs that are maybe 3-4 inches inside, he'll back away because he does dive into that plate, and nothing wrong with that, believe me. As a pitcher, you say, okay, you're going to dive, I'm going to go hard in, but then maybe I can get him down and away.
Chipped his bat in a roller foul. He'll have to get a new stick. Ron Gardenhire asked about Arcia in the media session today, said that he's noticed that Arcia is laying off pitches that he swung at in his first stint with the Twins. Here you'll see with the cupped bat, the ball actually hit with the very end of the bat, and then that chips the bat, so he needs a new one.
But that's just a great swing and great head position where he's staying down on the ball and through the baseball as long as possible.
If you were a golfer, you would want that swing.
That's outstanding. Absolutely.
1-2 to Arcia. 2-2.
But I think, Dick, you know, when he first came up, of course you're excited. You want to prove yourself.
Right.
You have that little extra, you know, adrenaline flowing, where now maybe he's just a little calmer, and now he's looking for that pitch, and he's doing a great job.
Well, a couple of pitches here, high fastballs that he, you know, we saw him swing at a lot and miss or pop up.
I think that's the point, Dick. What you're saying right there is he's taking pitches where he's not getting himself out at home plate. The pitcher has to get him out by making good pitches, where earlier there were times he was launching balls for a long way, but then also he was an easy out early in his at bat because he was just swinging at pitches he couldn't handle.
In a nutshell, Ron Gardenhire said the at bats are better, and we might be seeing an example of it here leading off the 7th inning. 3-2.
Quick hands too.
He got an off-speed pitch, might have been looking fastball, but he was able to waste it and keep the at-bat alive.
But to me, Dick, the big difference is the approach of that swing. He let that ball get deep. He fouled that. He was underneath it and fouled it off, but his approach was towards the bullpen, towards left center field. And that's why he's staying in at bat so much longer as opposed to hitting those routine high fly balls to the outfield.
Pop foul again. Running up Guthrie's pitch count. Three 2-strike fouls for Arcia in this leadoff at bat in the 7th. At the knees. Won't see him take too many called third strikes. And he takes one here to start the 7th inning. Saturday baseball night in America returns. Robinson Cano and the Yankees go to Baltimore to take on Chris Davis and the Orioles. Baseball night in America beginning Saturday at 6 Central.
Well, you got to credit Guthrie right there because the previous 3-4 pitches were up in his zone, and then he paints one straight down about knee high. So Guthrie picking up his 4th strikeout.
Plouffe, the batter. Ball one. When Plouffe was up, the Twins had a couple runs. Runners on the corners, 1 out. I was talking about how I thought the Twins were ready to have a good homestand offensively, and then Plouffe hit into the double play. There's a liner to left center and a base hit. In terms of hitting with men on base, and Ron, I wanted to ask you about that because the point I was trying to make is for the first time, maybe since the first year here at Target Field, I think the lineup is hitting the ball with confidence in their home ballpark.
I would agree with you. And we saw that in batting practice as we see Phantom Cam with the breaking ball from Guthrie. How does your arm feel watching that?
Feels great. I want to go back out there.
After 20-some years of pitching. But I would
never
agree.
realized my arm did that.
Yeah. You don't want to see that, do you?
No wonder I have to brush my teeth left-handed once a week.
Parmalee, the batter.
But you were talking, Ron, about the Twins lineup.
Well, to your point, you watch batting practice and you watch the balls flying around the ballpark, and there's an energy with some of these young hitters that are confident young hitters. Parmalee being one of them who's been swinging the bat very well. Arcia, young hitter who's swinging the bat well and is very aggressive at home plate. And I think that's an energy that this club needs and has right now. And I agree with you. There were times last year where, you know, it was cold and damp in here and the ball wasn't flying, and you could see a negative feel around the batting cage with some of the hitters.
Parmalee lifts it foul. It's hard enough to hit, I would imagine, when you're facing the other team's starting pitcher. But when you're facing the other guy's pitcher and the ballpark,
right,
that has to double the difficulty.
Well, I'll tell you why. I think Clete Thomas has come in and did a good job, too.
Phenomenal job.
Yeah.
And aggressive at home plate. He's been swinging, you know, the ball he hooked just foul in his last at bat. Those are great swings and aggressive swings. Parmalee's been swinging the bat aggressive. Arcia, I like the young guys. You know, Mauer, Morneau, and those guys, Willingham, they're going to swing and be aggressive. But you have to get these young guys feeling good at home plate. And I think that's part of Bruno, as a hitting coach, having a lot of fun around the batting cage. There's an energy with Tom Brunansky around the batting cage. He likes to hit. He likes hitting, and he likes it.
2-1 to Parmalee. Foul back 2-2.
Well, a good swing right there. Just fouling it straight back.
Parmalee with a fly to center, and he was called out on strikes. The Royals went back to the old book on Chris Parmalee, bust him inside with a fastball with 2 strikes, and that used to freeze Chris, and then he kind of adapted to that, and, handled those pitches better, and he got caught taking a fastball over the inside corner in the 5th. 2-2. Perez this time sets up outside, and the pitch is outside. 3-2.
A little backdoor breaking ball that missed.
Dozier on deck. Twins with 6 hits, and if you just joined us, they bunched 4 of them together over 5 at bats to score a couple of runs in the 4th against Guthrie. Runner goes. It's ball 4. Bloof goes to second. Parmalee takes the second walk, issued by Jeremy Guthrie. And before Dozier bats, we'll tell you about MLB.com at bat, the #1 source for live baseball anywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Twins baseball with live audio pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit twinsbaseball.com for details.
Well, we showed you Will Smith, a left-hander, warming up. Now, this might be his last batter he's going to face. Or I'm sure with Florimon on deck, they're going to want him to hit right-handed. So see if Dozier could do some damage right here. A couple runners on with 1 out.
Dozier had a really good at-bat last at-bat. He hit the ball to the wall in right center field. Like to see that same approach. He's hit a line drive over the second baseman's head.
Dug out by Perez. He's awfully good behind the plate. 1-1.
He is one of those guys behind home plate that has that energy. Pudge Rodriguez, Santiago, as you brought up, Pena, the guys that like to bounce around, they like to throw. Fun to watch, a guy enjoying playing his position.
1-1 to Dozier. Dozier, one of the guys that has hit much better here at home as of late, has hit some home runs here. Twins desperately need right-handed batters to hit some home runs in this ballpark, especially in the absence of Josh Willingham, who's going through a bit of a spell.
We'll see if Twins can take advantage of Guthrie right here. He's not as sharp here this inning that he has been earlier in the ball game. He's missing. He's trying to push it rather than let it go now. A little hard breaking ball. Good pitch. Dozier looking fastball right there.
2-2.
Now you're going to see the approach by Dozier on this pitch. Look at him go towards left center field out front. And that's where I was talking out going into this at bat. If he could get zoned into that right center field gap, he's going to be on these pitches. That's better.
Fastball flipped foul. Another thing the Twins did not do well on the road trip when they had the lead, adding on some runs in situations like this. 2-2, Dozier. This at foul again.
Well, that's kind of the problem that the Royals have had too. So both these clubs, are up sub 500 because they have not been doing a good job, like they did not do in the 7th inning against Deduno. Runners at first and third, with 1 out. And Deduno just got the strikeout and the ground ball out to end the inning. The threat.
2-2. Full count. Florimon on deck, and I think you're going to be proven to be right that this will be the last batter Guthrie faces here with Florimon on deck.
Yeah, it looks like he's tiring a little bit right here. Even that breaking ball, it's just not that. It doesn't have the bite. There's a sharpness. Well, the first 5 innings outstanding. In the 6th and 7th, too many pitches.
Full count to Brian Dozier. Pick off to second. Diving back is Bloof. And Perez now will go to the mound.
I think everybody on the field realizing for Guthrie this is his last hitter. they're trying to get outs any way possible.
Yeah, most pitches he's thrown in a ball game, 114. That was 2 starts ago. Well, he had that short start his last time out. Only 2 1/3 innings.
Smith is ready. Full count to Dozier. Runners go. Ball chopped to third. Bobbled by Moustakas. Everyone is safe. Well, the Twins get a big break. Moustakas committing his 9th error of the year at third base.
And here comes Ned Yost. He will make the move, but that may have been a double play. Maybe Moustakas saw the runner Plouffe coming at him, thought, okay, I'm going to tag him and throw to first. But instead, you could almost see that's what he was going to do, and then lost sight of the ball.
Watch his eyes. See that?
Yep.
Eyes off the ball.
Yep. He was going to tag. He was going to tag Plouffe, which he did, but without the ball.
Twins with a chance to break it open in the 7th. On in the bottom of the 7th inning, Pedro Florimon will hit right-handed against big Will Smith. Our century link to what's next, a converted starter, now a left-handed reliever.
Yeah, Smith just getting recalled for the 3rd time this season. Came up earlier, made a start, now put into that bullpen. Also went down, and they put him in the bullpen down in Omaha, AAA.
Brought in here to push Florimon over to his weaker side, and it's a much weaker side. Florimon from the right side of the plate, his natural side. 4 hits, 42 at-bats, an 0.95 average, but somehow 6 runs batted in.
Well, let's add to that total right here.
Bases loaded, 1 out.
Smith with a fastball, big curveball, changeup. There's a fastball.
Away, ball 1. Royals have 3 left-handed relievers. We'll see them all likely in this 4-game series. Bruce Chen, Smith, and Tim Collins. Slap foul, 1-1. A double play ball killed the 4th inning rally after the Twins scored a couple. Outside, 2-1. Florimon's drawn 2 walks from this side of the plate. Struck out 10 times. And Tom Bernansky, Ron Gardenhire still maintain they feel he is a better hitter from the right side of the plate. He just hasn't had the opportunity because you don't see as many left-handed pitchers. 2-1. Another foul.
Well, he's had a couple fastballs to hit right there. He's just fouled them off. Now Smith, again, he's got that big curveball. both these clubs, the best bullpens in the American League. Twins a little bit better than the Royals as far as earned run average.
Florimon trying to hit the ball to the outfield. Fouled it to the screen. Bases full of Twins with one out. A high fly to left. Gordon's got a great arm. Plouffe runs well at third. And Gordon with a throw to third. Florimon gets the job done with a fly ball.
Good job by Florimon right there. And thing about Alex Gordon, he knew he was too deep to try to throw that ball home, so he just threw it back into the infield. So Florimon picking up an RBI, his 23rd of the year, and it's a 3-1 Twins lead.
That's a great approach at the plate by Florimon, taking some pitches up and out over the plate, hitting a bunch of balls foul to the right side. He gets the pitch in, and he's able to turn on it. He wasn't out in front, and does a great job of elevating that ball to get that RBI.
You saw Rick Anderson going over to Duduno, kind of a long inning late in a ball game, and what they like to do is receive Burton up. Might be the end for Duduno with Burton warming up.
One strike. Thomas, who's held his own against left-handers, hitting .238 against them, but just 21 at bats. 5 hits, a couple of doubles, and a home run. 2 strikes. And Smith with that biting slider gets the strikeout to end the inning. Twins add one more at the bottom of the 7th.
Wolves took Trey Burke with that 9th pick out of Michigan. It looks like they are going to get the 14th and the 21st pick from the Utah Jazz, and pick number 21 just went. It was Gorgie Jang, who played for Louisville last year, hails from Africa, 6'11" center. So along with Shabazz Muhammad, 2 pretty nice players for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll confirm that trade a little later this evening.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Pedro Florimon driving what the Twins would consider an awfully big run. It makes the world of difference if you're an 8th inning pitcher or a 9th inning pitcher, whether you got a 1-run lead or a 2-run lead. Now it's a 2-run lead.
Jared Burton coming in, and he's been the 8th inning setup man for Glenn Perkins in these type of ball games, making his 35th relief appearance. He's worked 33 1/3 innings, 32 hits allowed, 15 walks, 4 intentional with 31 strikeouts.
I want to thank Ron Coomer for being up here for the last few innings. We'll hear from Coom throughout this 4-game series. Rod Dyson will lead things off for the Royals, and Alex Gordon and Alcides Escobar. 7 very good innings for Samuel DeDuno, and he got into trouble and got out of it all by his lonesome in the 7th inning. Ball 1.
And that was important for DeDuno because of the pitch count, as you mentioned, also for the other starters to see him work his way through. Don't look over your shoulder, do it yourself. Good job by DeDuno.
1-0 to Dyson, and now a strike. And important for the relievers, too, I would think. It's a lot easier to come out of the bullpen to start an inning with the bases empty than it is to come in with the tying run at third.
You're right on right there.
Now, it wouldn't have been Burton asked to get the final out of the 7th inning. We saw Fien and Thielbar warming up, 2-1. Maybe the most efficient pitching staff the Twins had was about 8 years ago. It seemed like Carlos Silva was good for 6 every night. No more, but 6 innings. Santana was in there, but they always finished innings, it seemed like. There weren't mid-inning pitching changes. 3-1.
You do not want to walk this guy right here. He's outstanding as far as stealing bases on the base paths. Basically, here it is, hit it, and hopefully Dyson will hit it at somebody.
Three and 2.
And you have to do it again.
Burton had a little bit of a slump, and it really started that night in Kansas City back on June 6th. Came in and just didn't have a real good outing. Then a couple of them backed up after that, had a groin issue. Bluth's going to chase it and make the catch in foul ground, 1 down.
Good job by Burton right there, coming back on a 3-1 count, getting Dyson to swing on a 3-2 pitch. Samuel DeDuno here tonight, outstanding. First hitter of the ball game. Alex Gordon got that infield base hit. Boy, did he settle down nicely. Gave up the home run to Perez. Worked out of that jam in the 7th inning. 87 pitches, 60 for strikes. Saw the fastball, the first one. There's the breaking ball, and look at the arm, how it extends out.
Gordon with a swing and a miss, 1 strike. Gordon 1 for 3. Went right off the end of the bat. Between DeDuno, Morneau, and Dozier, he ended up getting an infield hit and got as far as third base in the 1st inning. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes. That changeup, if a hitter's sitting on a fastball, almost seems impossible to hit. You almost have to sit on the changeup if you're going to have any hope of hitting it hard.
Remember last year when he first joined us, everybody's saying, boy, what a nice splitter he has. You know, it's a circle changeup.
There's a fastball on the outside corner. 2 down.
Mauer sitting away. Right there. Joe Cuzzy saying that's strike 3.
2 gone. Escobar, the batter. He was slumping a bit. Ned Yost moved him down to the bottom of the order, now moving him back up to the number 2 spot where he wants to hit. He thinks he's a good number 2 hitter. Hopes to stay there for a while. Strike 1. Foul back, 2 strikes.
Heading the count. Mauer saying fastball, go up the ladder with him a little bit here.
Center, and Thomas will play it on a hop. Escobar keeps the inning alive and gets Hosmer to the plate.
I think Joe wanted up a little bit more about neck high rather than letter high.
Approaching the midway point of the 2013 baseball season, a good time to get a group together and head to the ballpark. Organize your business, church, school, or just some friends together. Make up a group. 833 Twins. Visit twinsbaseball.com. Check out the options. Learn about the benefits that group organizers receive for putting it all together. Again, we're expecting tremendous weather through this entire homestand. Kind of hot and humid today, and it's only going to get better. Temperature is going to be more moderate. Humidity is more moderate.
Yeah, keep an eye. There he goes. I was going to say keep an eye on it, but maybe we'll get the final out here as Escobar took off.
Hosmer hits a number in front of the plate, and a good 8th inning for Jared Burton. Joe Mauer and company will try to start something in the bottom of the inning.
Field. Be sure to stick around after the game for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink, as we break down a pitcher's duel tonight at Target Field. Sam DiDuno so far getting the better of the Royals, and also we'll take a look at the best of Phantom Cam. If you've been watching our broadcast, you've been seeing some incredible shots from this super slow-mo camera, and we will show you the highlights from the game on that tonight. And of course, we'll hear from Ron Gardenhire and get his thoughts after the game. Dick and Bert.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Joe Mauer tried to bunt it up the third baseline with Moustakas playing deep and well off the line. 1 strike to Mauer, hitless in the ball game. Could not hit the ball any harder than he did in the first inning, and he nearly decapitated Jeremy Guthrie. Oh, 0-2.
I think since Joe has worn a Twins uniform, we've only seen him try to do that maybe a handful of times.
Right.
And, he's been successful doing that. You're going to shift over like they are. Plenty of room down that third baseline to lay one down.
2-hopper back to Smith. And Mauer retired, 1 down. Let's get caught up on the proceedings here tonight.
Well, Samuel DiDuno, 7 very good innings, 5 hits allowed, only 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. The biggest strikeout coming in the 7th inning when he was able to strike out David Lowe with runners at first and third and 1 out. Offensively, the big 4th inning, the RBI double by Justin Morneau, then followed by an RBI single by Arcia. Scored the 2 runs for the Twins. They added another run in the 7th, an unearned run. That was charged to Jeremy Guthrie.
Willingham at the plate, singled and scored in the 4th, walked and was thrown out at the plate trying to score on Morneau's double in the 6th. 1-1. ball 2.
Well, Will Smith, just 23 years old, came over from the Angel organization a couple years ago for the Alberto Callaspo trade back in 2010. Straight over the top, 6'5" lefty.
Two and one to Willingham. 3-1, Morneau on deck. Full count. Closer Glenn's Perkins warming up for what looks to be an opportunity for his 20th save. A high fly to left center field. Dyson calling for it. Out number 2. You want to say it again? Bert? You just missed it. Updated look at our AT&T Twitter poll. Will Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak ever be broken? Most of you say no. I would tend to agree.
I can't believe 57%. That seems low.
Morneau with a pair of doubles on a line out. Got a pitch up, fouled it to the screen. 3 at bats for Morneau, and more tonight probably than any time recently. He's hit the ball where it's pitched.
I remember when George Brett was up in the high 30s. I don't recall where he ended it, but the mass media attention he got, he said, was overwhelming. And that's when Joe DiMaggio, when he did the 56-game consecutive, that was kind of, back then it was kind of unnoticed, you know, ho hum. But now today, my goodness, everybody gets 40, and I mean Paul Molitor went through that too.
He went. Morneau's gone on 3 pitches, and Perez has to flip to first to end the inning. A 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th. Stay tuned for the Gander Mountain weekend weather update for Twins territory. has Glenn Perkins been to the Twins? They're trying to get his their 35th win of the year. It would be Perkins' 20th save of the year.
And we just showed you a bunch of strikeouts, and that's what Perkins all about. 40 strikeouts in 28 2/3 innings. Only 17 hits allowed.
First pitch up high, ball one.
No fooling around. Fastball, hard slider. Here it comes.
Middle of the lineup for the Royals. Butler, Perez, Moustakas. They have combined this year for only 12 home runs. Off the outside corner, 2-0. Butler singled in the 7th inning. Got as far as third base. Lined out to center in the first with Gordon at third and 2 away. Officially 1 for 3. Missing again, 3-0. Any base runner, of course, brings the tying run to the plate. Control not an issue for Perkins. One of his strengths as a closer. 6 walks, 28 2/3 innings. Opponent batting average of 170. All the numbers very, very good for Glenn Perkins. Foul back, 3-2.
And with that 2-run lead, you don't want to lead off that inning with the walk. So we'll see if Perk goes right after him again with a fastball.
Left it up high and a leadoff walk on the night. 7 walks now for Perkins, and he'll have to face Perez representing the tying run. Jeff Francoeur coming off the bench, and he's going to run for the designated hitter. So Butler out of the ball game. And Perez will hit a home run for the only Kansas City run leading off the 5th. Added a single in the 7th.
Well, Francoeur not a base stealing threat, but he can get the first and third on a base hit where Butler may stop at second. That's why he's pinch running for Butler there.
Strike over the inside corner. Burton gave up a 2-out single. Royals had the tying run on the plate in Eric Hosmer, but then Hosmer hit a comebacker to the mound, and the inning was ended. Scalded to Plouffe. Man, did he hit that ball hard. 1 away.
Well, that breaking ball went right into a swing, and Trevor Plouffe went to his right, made a nice play. Ball hit so hard it could tear the webbing out of your glove. How quick that ball got to Plouffe.
Put Phantom Cam on it, and it still got out there in a hurry. 1 down. Moustakas, the batter. At the bell to strike. Moustakas really struggling against left-handers, hitting just 151 against them. 8 hits, 53 at bats, a couple of doubles and a home run. On the outside corner.
And when you struggle against left-handers, guess what the count is? 0-2. There's the splits.
Not exactly ripping the cover off the ball against right-handers,
no.
But 0-2. Perkins to Moustakas. Perkins a little agitated with that leadoff walk. Got the fastball up to 97. Lorenzo Cain in the on-deck circle. Looks like he's going to hit for David Lowe. One and two. Foul tip. Mauer hangs on. 2 down.
And another strikeout for Glenn Perkins.
That'll bring up Lorenzo Cain.
It's only been 5 outings for Glenn Perkins. This is his 30th that he has gone, at least 1 inning. That's his longest outing, or he's had at least a strikeout. Only 5 times he did not have a strikeout in an inning.
Royals are carrying 5 outfielders, the 3 who started today, and then Cain and Frank Coeur, who's pinch running at first. Frank Coeur's playing time has really been crimped, and there's some thought that eventually the Royals may release him. Up and away, ball 1.
Well, Cain was playing center field until Dyson came back, and now Cain on the bench.
1-0.
Good breaking ball there.
Down the line, fair into the corner. Frank Coeur to third. He'll be held. Cain with a big turn at second. And Cain off the bench gets an extra base hit and advances the tying run into scoring position.
Well, it looked like he kind of tommyhawked that ball down the right field line. Just inside out swing. He throws so hard, Perkins does, that ball hit right down that right field line. Parmalee has to go get it in the corner, played a little bit of a carom, get it back in.
Now former American League MVP Miguel Tejada, who made the Royals on a minor league contract as a utility player, but he's on the roster and he's going to hit as a pinch hitter with the tying run at second and 2 down.
Tejada as a pinch hitter, 2 hits and 8 at bats. 69 at bats on the season. 19 hits, a couple home runs. He's driven in 9.
The pinch hit by Cain, an odd one for the Royals. They're now 5 for 37 as a pinch hitting team. And now Tejada with another pinch hitting appearance with the lead on the line and 2 out. Down the middle of strike.
Pretty good numbers as a pinch hitter in his career. 16 seasons.
16 seasons, 20 at bats off the bench. Up high, including the 8 this year. Fouled away. Twins making no effort to hold Cain at second base. They're going to let Florimon and Dozier play their positions in the hopes of getting a ground ball to end the game. Cain's got a huge lead at second base.
Well, good crowd here tonight on their feet. Twins looking for their second win against the Royals in 7 meetings so far.
1-2 to Miguel Tejada. 2-2. Grounded to Plouffe. Sets. Fires, and Perkins gets his 20th save of the year.
Not the prettiest save, but Glenn Perkins will take that save right there. Good play by Trevor Plouffe, backpedaling to get that throw over to Justin Morneau. Good job all around. Good defense, good timely hitting, and a great pitching performance by Samuel Deduno.
Royals can't figure him out. And Tom Hanneman, the Twins with a win here, are now in their hopes of catching and passing the Royals in this series. They are even with the Royals in the loss column.
Dick, the Twins enjoy some good old-fashioned home cooking tonight, and it tasted very, very good. Up next on Twins Live, we'll talk about the pitcher's duel here this evening, the best of Phantom Can, and we'll hear from Gardy. Up next on Twins Live.